Welcome to the tutorial for 6-4, the Battle of Endor. Endor is the level with the most amount of gameplay, and is a heavy movement level with difficult skips and enemy management. Because of this, we've given this level a difficulty rating of 10, and an RNG rating of 7. Goal times are incredibly important here, as this level should be consistently practiced to drastically lower your average times as your skill improves. Let's begin. Begin by swapping P1 to R2 and P2 to Wicket. R2 is the bottleneck here, so pay more attention to him. The beginner method to play this room is to drop Wicket out after switching to him. Take a good line to this section of the railing and begin flying slightly before you get there. Fly until you get up top and then release fly. Start another fly and go across the gap. Fly around the tree here and release your fly to fall onto the platform. Fly around this box and start heading towards the railing. Fly from this top ledge and land R2's right side on the railing to get another fly to cross the gap. Head behind these two orange objects and fly with R2 to get on this railing. Once you are on top of the railing, fly around the tree to hit the transition from the back. The advanced strat is to keep P2 in for the whole room to save a dropout. While flying from the first railing, use the hatch with Wicket. Once Wicket comes out the other side, go around the tree and keep going right. Do not worry about his line at all, since R2 is the only bottleneck. Bring Wicket to the edge of the platform, and once R2 gets on top of the final railing, you will need to jump off the edge with Wicket to move the camera enough for R2 to hit the transition. Once you enter room 2, switch P1 to Han and call in P2 if they aren't in already. Start shooting to the right with Han to blow up all the boxes on the ground and the top grapples. A power-up should spawn in from this rightmost box. Grab it with Han and build the box. While building the box, use the hatch with Wicket to go to the top platform. Once the box is done, stand on the right side here and push it up until the bottom of it is almost lined up with the top section of the checkered floor. Move to the right side and push the box left. While pushing it left, head to the lever with Wicket and begin spamming special to use the lever as soon as possible once the box is in place. Once you've pulled the lever with Wicket, start heading down with Han and shoot any remaining grapples and troopers to clear the area. After that, position Han here and Wicket here. The box should get pulled up top, and after the pulley is fully off screen, start pushing right with Wicket. Once the box is lined up with the target, push it forward to insert it. Once it's in, begin moving down with both players. Double jump with Han over the edge at the last possible second, and jump down with Wicket to give him some death movement during the camera pan. During the camera pan, start spamming jump with Han for a potential early movement like this. After the camera pan, move to the bottom button with Han. The rest of your party will then choose buttons. Go to the last remaining button with Wicket. As soon as the last buttons light up green, quickly double jump with Han straight down to get ghost hearts for the rest of the level. Try not to pre-fire this jump. Simply react to the button turning green. If you do go too early, just double jump over the edge right after you step on the button again. For 12 button room, there are two main strats broken up into beginner and advanced. For the beginner strat, switch P2 to 3PO and drop him out. Head slightly down with Han and shoot the troopers below, then shoot the troopers at the top of the platform. You have to kill all of them, otherwise your party will not follow you. Next we have a trick called Hill Roll, which utilizes a pixel on the hill to get to the top and pull the lever early. Once the troopers are all dead, head to this patch in the grass here. Do a quick dive roll with Han onto this section here, then do another dive roll upwards to try and get a roll off the sliding collision and land on the top. Pull the lever with Han, go forwards a bit, then pan downwards to check if all 5 of your party members are following you. Sometimes the AI will get stuck at the bottom of the ramp and not follow you, so make sure they are all behind you before continuing in the room. If you see one missing, head back a little to bring them on screen, and they should take the ramp up to the top. Only continue forward once you know for sure that everyone is with you. Head up the room and kill the 3 stormtroopers to the left. Then shoot the panel. After you shoot the panel, fire shots toward the right side to kill the pack of stormtroopers. It's really good to kill all of them and not leave any alive, since they can shoot you while you are building the 3PO panel. Either during the build or after it, call in P2. While P2 uses the panel, go up left with Han so that your AI follows him up there. Once 3PO is done, switch him to Wicket. You can start heading to the right with Han and have Wicket step on this button on the left. It is very important that your button order is correct, otherwise the AI will freak out and you will have to do some backups. Examples of this may look like this, where your party goes to the wrong buttons. If you get this case where a character appears to be stuck on a button, the only way to fix this is to swap to them and continue the room with them instead. Make sure that Wicket is the first one to step on a button, and then have Han step on this button second. The AI should follow suit and step on the rest. Head up left with Wicket to use the hatch while Han heads upwards to build this ramp. Once Han is done, you can optionally fire some shots at the spawning stormtroopers down to the right before heading left. When Wicket gets to the top, pull the lever. Once the grapple pieces fall down, build them with Han, and during this build, have Wicket fall down and step on this leftmost button. Stormtroopers may appear while Han is building, so be wary of that. You may have to stop building to shoot them. Once the grapple is done, pay attention to where Leia and Chewie are positioned. If they are pretty close together, that's good. Just take the grapple up at the same time as them. However, if they are far apart, you can try and push the one closer to the grapple away from it so they can't take the grapple as fast. If one of them takes it too fast, the other will get cut off and not make it to the top. There is also a case where one of them takes it too fast, but the other character just barely makes it to the top. If this happens, push that character that barely made it forward more so their AI will path towards the buttons instead of the grapple. Once all players are at the top, step on the remaining button with Han, drop P2 out, and jump roll towards the end of the room. The advanced strat in this room is known as 12 button skip, and is one of the most challenging skips to learn and difficult to pull off. Start by switching P2 to Leia. You don't need to worry about killing any troopers, as you only need P1 and P2 for this. Do hill roll to get up top. Since P2 is called in, if you miss hill roll, you can optionally make it up top by putting Han in this corner, then jumping into his head with Leia. Once Leia hits Han's head, double jump with him to perform a 2-player height boost and get to the top. Pull the lever with Han and go up the ramp with Leia. Shoot the 3 stormtroopers on your way to the gate, and make sure to be jumping with both players so the inclined ground doesn't slow you down. Do not shoot the panel in the middle, as you need to use its collision to get past the first gate. Once you are up next to it with Han, jump roll onto the front section. You will then jump upright, barely moving at all before going neutral to land on top of the gear. Once you land on top, jump dive onto the light, and jump dive again to get over the first gate. With Leia, again, jump onto the front section, barely move upright to land on the gear, then jump onto the light and jump across to land on the first gate and clear it. Getting a jump off the gear here can be difficult, as you may often slide off of it and not get a jump at all. Sliding will usually happen if you are too far left on the gear, so try and aim slightly to the right of the center. If you aim too far right, you won't get a jump at all. You may also have this case where you overshoot the light or don't land on it. You can optionally single jump off the gear for a different spacing. Just find what works best for you. To skip the second gate, start running into this corner with Han, then put Leia against the wall here. Run upright with Leia towards Han, and jump with her so that she collides into Han's head at the highest point possible. You can use this visual cue with the gate to know when to jump, jumping right when she touches this part here. Right as she hits Han's head, quickly double jump and angle your stick mostly right but slightly up. If done correctly, you should get a massive height boost. There's some invisible collision you have to maneuver around that can be represented by this visual. While going right, once you pass this protruding corner, quickly move the stick up to get over the rock. Once you are on the other side, move Leia down here and continue to the end of the room with Han. Pan the camera up left and Leia should auto drop out before hitting the transition. A common problem with the second gate is not getting enough height from the 2-player height boost. This is likely due to Leia running into Han at too low of a height. Make sure to try and hit the highest part of Han's head with Leia's feet, as hitting any part of his body below his head will not get enough height. Getting low height may also be caused by jumping too early with Han. Make sure you wait for Leia to hit his head before beginning the jumps instead of attempting to pre-fire it. Another common mistake is Han's angle on the way up, and when to turn up. You want to be running into the corner upright, but make sure once Han takes off to angle the stick down slightly so he doesn't hit the front of the rock like this. It can be hard to get a feel for when to turn the stick up to get around the rock and invisible wall. Here you can see Han standing on the invisible collision at its furthest point, showing just how far it protrudes out. Remember to look at this tip on the rock to know when to turn up with Han. Learning 12 button skip is an arduous process that can take many hours to get down, so patience is key. It's recommended to focus on getting the second gate skip down first before putting a lot of time into the first gate skip, as if you are having trouble with the first gate skip, you do have the option of doing the beginner strat up until you unlock the first gate, and then performing the second gate skip. If you do this, make sure you drop out manually and skip the auto dropout, as you will get redropped to a different party member. There are 2 strats in this room, broken up into beginner and expert. For the beginner strat, make sure you shoot these plants as you progress down the room, as there is a slight chance the characters in your party can get stuck on one of these plants. Shoot your shots with Han in between your jump rolls and take this line. After you destroy the second barrier, shoot this plant and grab this power up. Take this line to these pieces and build a ramp. You may have to shoot these plants or ATSTs if they are in the way, or take a wider line around them. Jump up and go to this corner. Next is a trip called Paul Skip that will trick the AI into thinking we are on top of the bunker. Stand here with Han, and Leia and Chewie will teleport on top. As soon as you see one of them come into frame, call them in as P2. Next we will set up Endor Super Jump. Position P2 here in front of this object in the back, jump from this spot, and land on top of this object in the front. This object cannot be respawned on, which is why it's necessary to jump on it. Then get a jump off the edge of the object and land on the edge of the bunker. Fall down and cut forward to make sure you don't touch the grass, positioning them in the top right corner. While you are doing this, move downwards with Han to get the other player on top of the bunker to follow them down. A good way to think about this can be to look at the other character on top of the bunker and pretend you are controlling them with P1's movements. Once they fall off the bunker, switch P2 to them and push the player you just switched off of into the corner. Push with both players like so, and once they jump through the door, swap to them with P2. If needed, you can move left and right with P2 to avoid dying while P1 pushes the third player into the corner. If your third player super jumps and they don't get stuck in the transition and instead land on top of the bunker, you likely did not position them correctly and will have to set the trick up again. Drop out P2 and position Han in the corner again to get both of them up there and try again. The expert strat in this room is called Paul's Grand Adventure, or PGA. This is only recommended for top runners to be used to save the run. It also requires 2 controllers and a keyboard. For starters, the auto dropout in the previous room is required. Immediately upon entering the room, call in P2 on your second controller. Aim down with P1 and up with P2 and perform a double swap, remembering to press tag with P2 first to keep P1's ghost hearts. Head down and tag P2 to Chewie on your way. Right before you jump over the log, pull Leia's gun out and put it away once you hit the tree. Once you are in the corner with both players, pull Chewie's gun out and drop out Leia. Pan the camera upright with Chewie after the dropout. As soon as Leia super jumps, call in player 1. If done correctly, your party should be out of bounds and you should call in as Han. You may release the camera pan to call in faster, but letting go of it too quickly will cause you to call in as C-3PO instead. After calling in, you can drop out P2 and continue out of bounds. Make sure to stay to the right of the trees so you don't pop in bounds. Once you get here, walk a bit and then jump dive under the floor. Take this line straight to the bunker door, trying to be as high up as possible without popping in bounds. Once you get close to the door here, start slow walking. Once you fall, keep holding up until you can jump again. As soon as you get a jump off, go neutral and keep jumping slowly so you don't accidentally jump roll with Han going for the door. If done correctly, you should pop up and hit the transition into the bunker. There is a lot that can go wrong with PGA. The beginning drop and warp is very precise with the timing, and pulling each character's gun out when told to do so is necessary for trooper de-aggros. You'll only get one shot at the drop and warp due to the enemies, so if you notice something go wrong, it's best to ditch the strat and continue as normal. Hitting the door is the most inconsistent part of the skip, and is part of the reason this strat is not typically done in runs. If you pop in bounds in front of the door, you'll need to go back and destroy the barriers to get your party over. You can optionally avoid this by shooting these barriers while out of bounds, but it is a little slower, to the point where PGA is not worth it at all. If you pop in bounds behind the door, just hit the back transition to reload the room, and your party will spawn next to you, allowing you to do Paul skip as normal. Entering the bunker, progress with both players and shoot the gate when you get close to it. Han should be in front since he has ghost hearts. P2 should also be spamming shots, but be careful since they can die. Try your best to clear out the main room quickly, aiming right with P2 and clearing the rest of the enemies with P1. Don't worry if you leave a couple enemies alive. Head to the left and shoot the door open, and have Han go to the right so he can get close and clear the stormtroopers in there. P2 can shoot the objects to clear the left side of the room. While P2 is doing that, kill any remaining enemies behind you with P1. Have both players step on these buttons simultaneously to combine the camera pans. Next, send P2 to the other button and try to position P1 under the first part of the ramp before the button is pressed. Once the ramp is active, have Han go up while P2 switches to 3PO. Han will push the box into the slot, then 3PO can come up to the top. If you're comfortable enough with 1P2 seat, Han can jump down and push 3PO to the top to save a small amount of time. Have 3PO use the panel, then walk down and switch him to either Chewie or Leia. Han will wait to pull the lever until P2 has gotten here. Hold right with P2 after passing the door, and if done correctly, P2 should auto switch to R2 and skip the camera pan. Swap P2 back to either Chewie or Leia, then continue into the main room. Have P2 use the lever to the right, and after they pull it, drop them out. Do a jump dive with Han before the camera pan for some extra distance. Once the pan ends, fire shots to destroy the second door if it's not already. Round the corner and do jump shots at the enemies in the next room. Kill them all and then fire a shot to destroy the leftmost wall. Make sure to not accidentally shoot the glass here, as that can kill the troopers behind that wall, which will lose some time. Walk into this corner and pan the camera right. A brief moment after you see the stormtrooper pull out his gun, call in P2, and that should de-aggro the trooper and force him to use the lever. You can skip the next camera pan by dropping out P2 once you see the screen move like this. In the case that the stormtrooper did not de-aggro and pull the lever, or he died earlier from an EBB shot, simply swap your P2 to Wicket behind the glass and pull the lever with him. Move Han out of the corner to here, and once you see the screen move like this, drop out player 1 instead of player 2 to skip the camera pan. Call in P1 again, drop out P2, then move right with Han until Wicket is completely off screen before calling P2 back in and swapping to R2 if he's not already. Then use the panel. While that's happening, place Han on the elevator to take the first cycle. Performing this section fast and correctly is critical to hitting the last camera pan skip. As soon as the elevator reaches the top, jump across with Han and begin building the bridge. Switch R2 to 3PO and stand on the edge of the elevator as it comes down. Try and push one of them off with 3PO if needed. Then, once 3PO reaches the top, the bridge should almost be finished. You can start moving to the right slightly before it is completed. Head towards the panel with 3PO, pushing in with Han to save some time. Use the panel with 3PO, then position Han next to the lever. Swap 3PO to Chewie or Leia, whoever is closer. Stand in the direct center of this section of the platform and swap to the player that comes up, right as the camera begins moving after pulling the lever. If the player you swap to is Wicket, try and switch to Leia or Chewie right after for quicker movement. This CPS is much more inconsistent than the first two, so don't be discouraged if this one gives you trouble. Jump down with both players and make your way to the levers in the middle of the bunker. It is slightly faster to pull the right lever with Han and the left lever with Chewie, so you can send Han towards the end faster. Build the 2 bombs with Han at the end and the front 2 bombs with Chewie. If this gives you trouble, you can pull both levers at the same time and build the bombs together. Dropping P2 out at the end of Endor may make the start of the next level easier for you, and is recommended for beginners. If you are confident in 1P2C, stay dropped in. This concludes the Endor tutorial.